The Utah Jazz are breaking up their team, and the Minnesota Timberwolves might have just pulled off one of the greatest trades in franchise history. Because Woj reports to us today that the Minnesota Timberwolves are acquiring Rudy Gobert, sources tell ESPN. And the crazy thing about this is that the Timberwolves did not even have to give away Anthony Edwards or D'Angelo Russell. Yes, the Minnesota Timberwolves only had to give away 4 first-round picks along with Patrick Beverley and some other role players. So this was a great deal for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I think the Minnesota Timberwolves might be one of the best teams in the West next year, with Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns being the next Twin Towers. Like, this team could be deadly. I am not capping. I think the Minnesota Timberwolves just pulled off the biggest heist of the 2022 NBA offseason. And this trade could decide the 2023 NBA championship. Like, this trade makes the Minnesota Timberwolves contenders. Sure, the Minnesota Timberwolves were a great team last season, and they made it to the playoffs and got knocked out in the first round by the Grizzlies. But now adding Rudy Gobert, a 3-time NBA Defensive Player of the Year, will be incredible. Gobert is one of 4 players to win 3 Defensive Player of the Years. And now playing with another big man and Karl Anthony Towns is going to be great. Considering Karl Anthony Towns is more of a 3-point shooter, but Gobert can block and he's a great defender, which is something that Karl Anthony Towns doesn't have. So both of those big men will work well off each other because of their different skill sets. And I definitely think that this team has the potential to win the NBA championship next year with Rudy Gobert and guys like D'Lo, Cat, and Anthony Edwards. And next, a team that just made the finals last season in the Boston Celtics just pulled off an incredible trade, because according to Adrian Wojnarowski, the Indiana Pacers are trading guard Malcolm Brogdon to the Boston Celtics, according to ESPN. And all they had to give away was Daniel Tice and Aaron Naismith. Now the Boston Celtics are going to be more stacked than ever, and I think they are a contender for the championship this season. We've seen what Malcolm Brogdon can do in Indiana in the last few seasons, becoming one of the best point guards in the NBA today, working his way up to the top of the mountain. And he was a guy who averaged almost 20 points a game just a few seasons ago, which is absolutely insane considering that Malcolm Brogdon is one of the best players on the Indiana Pacers. I mean, he's a Boston Celtic now, but he was obviously one of the vocal points of the offense and one of their franchise cornerstones. So him going to the Boston Celtics, I think, is good. Malcolm Brogdon was really probably the best player on the Indiana Pacers, and that franchise just was not really going anywhere. So I think Malcolm Brogdon going to the Celtics and using his best years to win a championship will be great for a player like him, who has not tasted the success of winning in the playoffs yet in his young career. Next up is a move that I don't think has the potential to change the landscape of the NBA per se like the last two do, but this is a move that I think will change the game for the New York Knicks, because Adrian Wojnarowski reports free agent guard Jalen Brunson has agreed to a 4-year, $104 million deal with the New York Knicks. His agent Aaron Mintz and Sam Rose of CAA Basketball tell ESPN. The deal includes a player option on the final season. And at first, when I thought about Jalen Brunson going to the Knicks, it made no sense to me. He just played on a team that made it to the Western Conference Finals this year, and they lost in 5 games to the Warriors. But that Dallas Mavericks team was a powerhouse, and he was one of the key options on that team. So why would he leave a team that just made it to the Western Conference Finals and might make it to the finals next season? Well, simple answer, that is the market of New York, and the deal he got was way better than any money he was going to get with the Dallas Mavericks. Like I said earlier, I don't think this deal is going to change the way I look at the NBA, but Jalen Brunson could be a great player next season, and I think he has the potential to win Most Improved. He was great in this year's playoffs, and I think if he keeps improving, he could be a guy who averages 20 points per game next season and goes to the NBA All-Star game. And then next, we have the Kevin Durant situation, which I think we can all understand, and it's pretty simple. Kevin Durant wants a trade from the Brooklyn Nets because he just lost in the playoffs 2 times in consecutive years in the first and second rounds. So Adrian Wojnarowski reports to us on June 30th that the Phoenix Suns and Miami Heat are among 2 of the teams that Kevin Durant has on his wish list, according to ESPN. But the Nets plan to move Durant where they can get the best possible deal. With 4 years still left on his contract, there's no shortage of teams willing to upload assets for Durant. And this is all crazy because literally any team in the NBA could get Kevin Durant. Well, maybe not any NBA teams who are rebuilding, because Kevin Durant has the most control over his career, being one of the top 10 players in the NBA, and there is no way that the Brooklyn Nets would send him to a team like the Houston Rockets, for example, who are rebuilding for some reasons, because Kevin Durant would not want to go there, considering that he wants to win a championship now very bad in the later part of his career, even though he has won a championship, but winning is also the most important thing to a basketball player always. And then the other thing is that the Nets would not be able to find a very good deal from the Rockets. But teams like Phoenix and Miami, who are contenders, are very, very likely for Kevin Durant to get traded to. Some other teams I could see him going to are maybe the Celtics or Bucks, but those don't seem likely, considering those teams would probably not have the cap space to take on Kevin Durant's colossal contract. Then you got some other teams who I think would be perfect suitors for Kevin Durant. Some teams in the West who have a lot of cap space left and are very good teams, like the Utah Jazz, I think would be considerable, considering that Donovan Mitchell is on the Jazz and they would be a good duo. But that is it for today's vid. Thank you guys for watching. Click subscribe, turn notifications on, like, share, comment, all the good stuff. And as always, I'm your boy Hyper Basketball, and we're out.